Hey, it's Pete. Welcome back to Question Christ. And in my last video, we were talking about the how of creation. Tonight, I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to talk about the why of creation. Why did this all happen? What's that? Do you hear it? Those are all my atheist friends screaming at the screen right now saying, Pete, that's a false argument. There doesn't have to be a why. You're presupposing there's a why. It's a false argument. Really? Really? This all just happened for no reason? Now everybody, I'm sure, knows a great cook. Most of the great cooks I know never measure anything. You know, you have like an old Italian grandmother or grandfather and say their favorite meal to prepare is like a stew of some sort. And you've seen them make it a million times, but they always do it differently. You know, they throw in a little too much celery one day and they maybe add a little too much meat the next day, or they cook it a little longer than they usually do, or they cook it a little lesser. You get the point. But the bottom line is that cook still understands he's making a stew, and that the stew, that's the big picture. But he or she leaves some variables in there, some controlled chaos, if you will, but still comes out with an amazing meal. He or she is still creating that meal. Now, to me, that's how I see God creating. He can work within that controlled chaos and the variables and still come out with the big picture. I mean, again, after all, he is God. Now, that to me makes a lot more sense than there being absolutely no meaning. None. Now, a lot of my friends would say the reason why we're here is because of Darwin's theory, adaptation, survival of the fittest. Okay, before we get to the point, I'm talking about before we get to the point where I am coming from the strong stock of an amoeba from the primordial ooze, okay? I'm talking before the Big Bang. Why? Why did it happen? And atheists do not have an answer for that. Now, even the most hardcore scientists are absolutely amazed by what I once heard described as the elegance behind the equations of the processes that happen in everyday life. Of course, one of the biggest scientists of them all, Albert Einstein. Now, before the atheists are going crazy, I'm not going to say Albert Einstein was a believer in Christ. He wasn't. Albert Einstein was also not a believer in a personal God. But he did have an amazing awe, reverence, and respect when it came to thinking about the order of the universe and what was behind that. And I wanted to read a little snippet of something that he wrote. When he was asked in 1929 by a New York rabbi, did he believe in God? Albert Einstein said the following: "I can't answer with a simple yes or no. I'm not an atheist, and I don't think I can call myself a pantheist. We are in the position of a little child entering a huge library filled with books in many different languages. The child knows someone must have written those books. It does not know how. The child dimly suspects a mysterious order in the arrangement of the books, but doesn't know what it is. That, it seems to me, is the attitude of even the most intelligent human being toward God. We see a universe marvelously arranged and obeying certain laws, but only dimly understand these laws. Our limited minds cannot grasp the mysterious force that moves the constellations." So even Einstein, an amazing scientist, an amazing, brilliant scientific mind, understood there was some amazing force that was behind this universe. So I'm asking you, if you are of that scientific persuasion, if you have a scientific mindset, and the only reason you're holding on to atheism is because of the evolutionary process, listen to the argument that I made tonight. Think about it. If you are thinking that way, I highly recommend this book by Francis Collins. He's the one who ran the Human Genome Project, a great scientist, but also a believer. I'd ask you to check out The Language of God by Francis Collins, and check out biologos.org, which is his website, which will explain this further. I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.